Hello again and welcome back. So now we're going to set up the smoke sim using the the smoke emitter that we just created. And what I've done is I deleted parts of the mesh of the points, and I'm going to only use these points in the emitter. And this is simply to make it easier to work with. And instead of using the entire mesh, I'm going to use only this section here and isolate few pieces from it. And I'm going to connect that here, and now we should have the something from these guys. Let's see, it's going through. Because of that trail, it's going to do certain operations a few times. So now we have the trail. And the last thing I want to do is I want to add a little bit of randomization to this. So I'm going to put down a volume block, and we have seen this already, but I'm going to do it again. Volume sample, and the sample position is going to be the current position, and we're going to add some noise to it. Sorry, I'm going to add a noise to it. Use that for the sampling. I want to sample the first input, and the attribute name is, the primitive name is density, and let's connect that to density. And so now we have distorted the thing, and I'm going to increase the number of turbulence, and we can increase that. This is just to add a little bit more breakup in the emitter, just to add a little bit more variation. And then I wrote that to disk, and this is the final emitter. It's less dense than this one, but it's just a matter of tweaking. If it's this dense, we just emit less in the sim. And this is the final emitter that I cached already, and you can see we have no gaps, and we have enough information to feed. Even if an object is moving too fast or doing anything too fast, we'll have enough information to feed into DOPS and use that. And this way, we don't have to do any substepping. Actually, that's the main advantage. We don't have to worry about any substepping effects. Cool. So let's create the sim. And this has 2 VDB volumes currently, and I don't need the val. I'm gonna blast that. I don't know why I have that, so I'm gonna remove that. Name equal val, and that's gone. And now we're going to put down a dot network, and I'm gonna call this out debris smoke source. And we're going to do the same thing. Smoke solver, smoke object, a volume source, and connect these guys. And here we're gonna increase the domain to fill the entire space. And then for the source, we're going to use the smoke, if we can find it. Cool. So let's hit play, and we have some stuff. Cool. And you can see we have a continuous sim, and currently it's only in this domain, and so we have to find the proper value for that. And I'm going to simply make this bigger to cover the whole thing. And the reason these are getting deleted also is because the emitter that I had was clipped, so I was deleting anything in the source itself that was beyond this region, because that's my region of interest. And now we have good coverage, and we can add that gas resize to make it shrink automatically and give it 1 delay frame. And now if we hit play, oops, nothing happened. What's happening? Well, the reason for this snap, for this getting empty, is because after 1 frame we still have no smoke to work with. So we can delay this by 4 frames. We can wait 4 frames for this guy, and then it's gonna snap. Should see it snap. Oh, sorry, it's disabled. 1, 2, 3, boom, it snaps. But it's not working as expected. If you look here, it's cropping the sim. It's killing some information. And we need a way to fix this. Even with this delay, 4 delay frames, it's still clipping the thing. So it's not doing the proper, it's not behaving properly. And there is a way to fix this. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to put down a bound node, and we're going to connect it to these, to our emitter. And this will automatically create a bound that fits everything. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand it a little bit to add a little bit more room on each side. I'm going to put down a null. I'm going to call this out source bounds. And then in the gas resize we can use this feature called tracking object. And here we can specify a sub object, and I'm going to use bound, source bound. And now we don't need that, we don't need the delay, we don't need anything. We know what needs to be used. And you can see we don't have that issue anymore. And so we're almost there. This is like the hardest part of the debris itself. So the next thing with the debris is the dissipation. So I'm going to create a gas dissipate, and I'm going to connect that into the velocity update. And let's dissipate 0.4, 40% every frame, because we don't want the trails to be too long, and it's already too long with everything we have. It's already longer than normal. Okay, not so much dissipation. Let's put 0.8. Cool. So now it's fading. It's fading a lot more. And we can start layering the turbulence and stuff. So I'm gonna put down a merge, and we're gonna put down a turbulence node. And let's scale this up so it's very strong. And now we have a lot of this, we have noise happening in the sim, and we can make it bigger so it breaks up the sim a lot more. And you can see we have nice details going on here. And I'm going to simply layer a few other, same as we did before, probably 2 and 3, and then a smaller one at a lower value. So scale 0.5, swirl size 0.5, and let's see how this goes. Cool. So now we have all the deformations happening on the smoke. Cool. So the one thing I want to do is I want to make the, let's look at it at full frame. Actually, let's look at the debris real-time speed, and let's see. Cool. So one thing I want to do is I want to make it rise a little bit, go up a little bit, because that's what dust, that's what the smoke generally does. And I want it to go up. And what we need for that is we need temperature. And currently we don't have any temperature. If I middle click here, there's only density. Well, we can tell the smoke solver to copy in the temperature the density itself. And that can be done through this sourcing here. and we can use the SOP to DOP binding, and instead of temperature volume, here instead of you can see we have density goes into density, temperature goes into temperature, val goes into val. We can say we wanted to copy the density to go into the temperature, okay, and we want to use the add method, and that will copy the density into the temperature. And now we can use buoyancy because it was empty before. And if I set that to a high number, we can go higher probably. Let's try 150 just to see how that works. Yeah, it's going up a little bit. Let's try even more. Yeah, we can see now it's going up. And we can use this to make it more interesting. And with this we're getting also a lot more motion because of all the variation in terms of temperature. And in the smoke solver there is these two options, cooling rate and temperature diffusion. And what's happening is the temperature field is getting blurred every frame. And also the cooling, I'm going to lower that. I don't want it to blur that much. And this cooling rate is how fast it decays. So I'm going to leave that to 0.5. And this section we're not going to use at this point. And then when we get to high res, we probably will increase this to 3 and then the CFL to 5. But in this case I did not. So this is where you control the min and max. And everything else we're going to leave as default. And let's import this. Let's do a .import field and let's drag this guy. And in here we're going to say smoke object. That's for the name. And we want to import smoke. And in this case I don't need val and I don't need temperature. And I want to see what, I don't need val, I don't need rest because we don't have that. I'm actually going to remove them. And I'm going to import the temperature, and I want to see how it looks. I want to show you guys how you can display that. And you don't need to do a pyro sim to get temperature, to get fire display or anything like that. If you have temperature, you can get fire look with just that. So this is our sim. Looks pretty cool. Let's put down a visualize node, and in here we have the temperature as well, and I'm going to go under emission, and I'm going to say the temperature, the emission field is temperature, and then the emission color field is also temperature, and I want to use the black body preset. And now if we start increasing the values, we will see that we have temperature field. And we can make something interesting with this. We can also change the use this to vary the color if we want to. It doesn't have to be that. We can use two tones. We can use anything we want. So that's the hot parts, and as it gets colder, it changes colors. So we can use this to do something in the shader level. And this is how you would display it in Houdini. Cool. So I think that's pretty much it for the smoke sim. I'm gonna show you guys the high-res version that I did. And let's see. I don't have a play blast of this, but it's very, very similar. I tweaked a little bit more the turbulence and everything, so it's probably going to look different, but it's not that different. And actually, I like this new one a little bit better. And I'm going to put down a volume visualize node, and I want to increase the display. I want to take a risk of doing this live, so let's see. Because this is a very high res sim, I think I simmed it at, let's see, 005, so it's going to be super high res. and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to display it in the viewport or not. So hopefully it's not gonna crash. And I think we're pretty much done. We've seen how to import data from DOPS, and we've seen how to create two type of sims. In the next few videos, we're gonna learn how to shade the volume, and then we're gonna use the same exterior lighting scenario that we did for the week 7, and we're gonna integrate the smoke in there and look at how to set the shaders and how to tweak the render settings and set up the path for that. I think my machine is freezing currently, so I'm gonna pause and continue in the next video. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.